For years, fans wondered if something had happened behind the scenes. Peter Klutt and Dennis Collins shared the same passion for rare classic cars, but they almost never spoke publicly about each other. Then, Peter finally broke his silence. His words were calm, respectful, and surprisingly honest. But what did they really reveal? Was there ever a hidden rivalry? Or had people misunderstood their relationship all along? The answer is far more interesting than most fans expected. Some people become famous by making noise. Others earn respect by letting their work speak for itself. Peter Klutt and Dennis Collins belonged to the second group. Long before fans began comparing them, each man was already building a name in the world of classic cars. But they took very different paths to get there. Peter Klutt grew up in Canada with a deep love for muscle cars. He was especially drawn to the powerful machines built during the 1960s and early 1970s. While many collectors dreamed of owning these cars, Peter wanted something more. He wanted to restore them to the way they looked when they first left the factory. That dream led him to create Legendary Motorcar Company in Ontario, Canada. Over time, the company became known for finding rare cars and restoring them with incredible care. Collectors from around the world began trusting Peter because he believed every detail mattered. A small mistake could change a car's history. For him, restoring a classic car was not just a business. It was a way of protecting the past. At nearly the same time, hundreds of miles away in Texas, Dennis Collins was making a name for himself in a different way. Dennis had a sharp eye for finding rare vehicles that others overlooked. He spent years searching barns, garages, and forgotten collections across America. While Peter focused on perfect restorations, Dennis became famous for discovering hidden treasures that many believed were gone forever. His business continued to grow, and his passion for Jeeps and classic American cars earned him respect throughout the collector community. Later, television introduced Dennis to millions of new viewers, making his adventures even more popular. Although both men loved classic cars, their careers followed different roads. One became known for perfection in restoration. The other became known for incredible discoveries and smart collecting. Still, because they worked in the same world, fans naturally began asking the same question. Were these two respected car experts friends, competitors, or something in between? That simple question would spark years of rumors online. And before long, people believed there had to be a story hiding behind the silence. But that was only the beginning. It did not happen overnight. There was no public argument, no heated interview, no dramatic moment that put Peter Klutt and Dennis Collins against each other. Instead, the comparison grew slowly. As classic car television became more popular in the 2000s and 2010s, viewers started following the biggest names in the hobby. Peter Klutt appeared on Legendary Motorcar, where audiences watched rare muscle cars being found, restored, and sold. Around the same time, Dennis Collins became widely known through his own business, his online content, and his appearances alongside other well-known figures in the Texas car scene. To many fans, they seemed very similar. Both searched for rare vehicles. Both bought and sold valuable classics. Both had years of experience. Both were trusted by serious collectors. But once people looked closer, they noticed something different. Peter believed that history was everything. If a classic car was restored, he wanted it to match its original factory condition as closely as possible. Every part, every color, every number mattered. His goal was to preserve the car's story for future generations. Dennis often focused on another part of the journey, the hunt. He became famous for tracking down forgotten cars, sitting in barns, fields, warehouses, and private collections. Some had not moved in decades. Others were so rare that even experienced collectors were surprised they still existed. Finding these hidden treasures became one of his greatest strengths. Because their work often involved the same kinds of valuable American classics, online discussions grew louder. Fans on forums, YouTube, and social media began asking questions. Who knew more? Who found better cars? Who made smarter business decisions? Who would win if they competed? The interesting part was that neither Peter nor Dennis encouraged these debates. There were no public insults, no challenge videos, no interviews attacking one another. In fact, there's no verified evidence that the two men had a personal feud or business conflict. Most of the rivalry existed in the minds of fans, who naturally enjoy comparing experts in the same field. Yet the silence created another mystery. If there was no bad blood, why didn't they talk about each other more often? That unanswered question became even bigger as the years passed. Then, Peter Klutt finally addressed Dennis Collins publicly. What he said surprised many people because it was nothing like the rumors had suggested. For years, fans waited for one big moment. They expected Peter Klutt to finally confirm the rumors. Some believed he would reveal a hidden rivalry. Others thought he might criticize Dennis Collins or explain why the two never worked together. But when Peter finally spoke about Dennis, the story took a completely different turn. Instead of attacking him, Peter's comments reflected something much simpler: respect. In interviews and public discussions about the classic car hobby, Peter has often emphasized that the industry is built on knowledge, honesty, and passion. While he has not made many public statements focused solely on Dennis Collins, the times he has acknowledged other respected figures in the collector world have carried the same message. There's room for different approaches to the same passion. That surprised many fans. People had spent years building stories online. They assumed that because Peter and Dennis were both successful, they had to be competing behind the scenes. But there has never been verified evidence to support that idea. Dennis Collins earned his reputation by finding incredible vehicles that many people thought were lost forever. Peter Klutt earned his by restoring rare muscle cars to an exceptionally high standard. Those are different skills, but they often complement each other rather than compete. Peter's attitude suggested that success in the collector world is not about proving someone else wrong. It is about preserving automotive history. That idea changed how many longtime enthusiasts viewed the situation. Instead of asking, "Who is better?" they began asking a more interesting question: what can each of them teach us? Dennis showed collectors how patience and persistence could uncover forgotten treasures. Peter showed them that restoring a classic car is about respecting its original story, not simply making it look new. Together, those lessons paint a much bigger picture of the hobby. Still, one question remained. If there was no real feud, why were fans so eager to believe there was? The answer says as much about internet culture as it does about classic cars. Online audiences often expect conflict because conflict gets attention. A simple story of mutual respect rarely spreads as quickly as a rumor. Yet sometimes, the quiet truth is far more meaningful than the loud headlines. And when we look at how both men built their careers, it becomes clear that respect, not rivalry, helped shape their lasting reputations. But there was one more reason their names kept being linked together, and it reveals something many people still overlook. Not every success story needs a winner and a loser. That is one of the biggest lessons from Peter Klutt and Dennis Collins. As their businesses grew, many people expected them to become rivals. After all, both worked with valuable American classics. Both attracted serious collectors. Both built loyal audiences through television and online videos. From the outside, it looked like they were chasing the same prize. But in reality, they were serving different parts of the classic car world. Peter Klutt became known for accuracy. At legendary motorcar company, every restoration was treated like a piece of history. His team spent countless hours researching factory records, matching original parts, and making sure each vehicle stayed as true as possible to the day it was built. For Peter, restoring a car was about protecting its story. Dennis Collins focused on something equally important: the search. He traveled across the United States looking for forgotten vehicles hidden in barns, warehouses, and private collections. Some had been untouched for decades. Others were so rare that even experienced collectors had never seen one in person. His greatest talent was recognizing value where others saw only rust and dust. Those different strengths actually helped the collector community. When Dennis uncovered an incredible car, it reminded people that automotive history was still out there waiting to be found. When Peter restored a rare muscle car, he showed how that history could be preserved for future generations. Instead of competing, their work highlighted different chapters of the same story. That is why many respected collectors admire both men. One represents discovery. The other represents preservation. Neither role is more important than the other. Over the years, the classic car market has changed. Auction prices have climbed. Rare models have become even harder to find. Collectors now pay closer attention to authenticity, documented history, and expert restoration than ever before. Both Peter and Dennis helped shape that mindset through years of experience and public education. Looking back, it becomes easier to understand why the rumored rivalry never produced real evidence. There were no public arguments, no legal disputes, no personal attacks supported by reliable sources. Most of the drama existed online, where speculation often spreads faster than facts. And perhaps that is the greatest surprise of all. The story fans expected, a bitter feud between two famous car experts, never truly existed. Instead, what remained was something far more valuable: mutual respect for a shared passion. But even after clearing away the rumors, one final question still remains. What is the real legacy of Peter Klutt and Dennis Collins? And why will their influence continue long after today's headlines fade? Sometimes, the biggest story is the one that never happened. For years, people searched for signs of a feud between Peter Klutt and Dennis Collins. Videos, forum posts, and social media comments kept asking the same question: was there bad blood behind the scenes? But after looking at the facts, a different picture appears. There is no verified public evidence that Peter Klutt and Dennis Collins were involved in a personal or professional rivalry. The idea grew mostly from fan comparisons, not from anything the two men publicly said or did. That may disappoint people looking for drama, but it also tells us something important. The classic car world is much bigger than one person. It thrives because people with different talents work toward the same goal: keeping automotive history alive. Peter Klutt built his reputation through precision. Every restored muscle car reflected years of research, careful craftsmanship, and respect for originality. His work reminded collectors that a classic car is more than metal and paint. It is a piece of history that deserves to be protected. Dennis Collins built his legacy through discovery. His ability to find forgotten vehicles in barns, garages, and private collections inspired countless enthusiasts to look beyond what was sitting in plain sight. He proved that some of the greatest treasures are the ones people have almost forgotten. Together, these two approaches have helped shape modern car collecting. One man finds history, the other helps preserve it. That is why so many collectors admire both of them, even if they prefer one style over the other. The internet often rewards conflict. A headline about a secret feud spreads faster than a story about mutual respect. Over time, repeated speculation can begin to feel like fact, even when no evidence supports it. Peter's comments, and the absence of any public attacks between the two men, remind us to be careful about believing every rumor we read online. Sometimes silence does not hide anger. Sometimes it simply means there's no story to tell. And perhaps that is the real lesson here. Success does not always require beating someone else. Peter Klutt and Dennis Collins built successful careers by following their own paths. They earned trust through years of hard work, deep knowledge, and a genuine passion for classic automobiles. Their stories also show that there is more than one way to leave a lasting mark. Some people preserve history. Some people uncover it. Both roles matter. As new generations discover classic cars through television, YouTube, auctions, and online communities, the influence of both men will continue. Their work has encouraged countless enthusiasts to appreciate rare vehicles not just for their price, but for the stories they carry. In the end, the mystery was never about a hidden rivalry. It was about two respected experts whose different journeys were mistakenly turned into a competition by the public. And sometimes, the quiet truth is far more meaningful than the loudest rumor. What do you think? Were Peter Klutt and Dennis Collins ever unfairly compared? Or is comparing experts simply part of every passionate hobby?